Hi, my name is Blake Ritter. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about what I do as a filmmaker and YouTuber, and also the workflow that I do using the ASUS ProArt monitor display. I want to thanks to Wex and ASUS for making this possible, and do watch out for the question in the chat for the competition giveaway. I've been a filmmaker for the past 2.5 years. During those time, I enjoy doing cinematography, directing, as well as an editor. I've shot over 20 odd short films, and recently I've completed a debut feature film called Help, which is coming out next year.
Can you do that?
Faceless and amazed they're hiding.
So the machine I like to use for editing is a Apple Mac Pro. I have it spec'd out at a 12-core processor at 3.3 GHz speed with a RAM at 112 GB and a AMD graphics card with 16 GB of memory. Now I need to have it at this spec because I have a habit of editing films quite quickly. It's just the way I work. For example, if I were to finish shooting the short film today, normally the film's released next couple of days. So to keep up with my speed of editing, I need a machine that can cut through the red raw footage quite quickly without stuttering. Same as for the B-raw footage. And the previous machine I had was a MacBook Pro. Although it was a high spec, you'd be able to edit maybe a 2K footage quite quickly. And if you want anything that's native, such as the 5K with the red raw, it would sometimes struggle to keep up with the playback during the timeline. And there's a lot of times I had to create proxies, and I hate doing that because for a large project that could just take half a day just to create those proxies. So with this high spec Mac Pro, I'm able to edit, for example, a feature film, which I talked about earlier, Help, in the space of 2 weeks, because during the timeline editing, there was no slowdown even for the high frame rate footage. There's no frame drop. During the color grading process also, everything was just smooth, and it really helped me to speed up with my work. So there are two main cameras that I like to use for filmmaking. I use the main camera, which is a Red Gemini 5K. Generally I use that to shoot high-end projects such as commercials, films, feature films, and it's really good for slow motion as well. It goes up to 120p on 4K frame per second, that is. And then it also has really good low light mode, and of course it has the really good red color science to it as well. And generally I'm shooting red raw to get the best dynamic range from the camera. The other camera that I use is the Blackmagic Pocket 4K. This is a much smaller camera. I use it as a B cam. I also sometimes shoot it for short films. It's obviously much more versatile. I can put it on my Rolling S gimbal. It's more kind of a run and gun camera. Because it's Blackmagic, it has a Blackmagic RAW that you can shoot with. Again, it's got beautiful color science as well. The monitor I use is the ASUS Pro Art series, the PA278, which is a 27-inch 2K HDR monitor. It has 400 nits, 100% sRGB color, and also it has the low ultra blue light, which helps me work on the monitor for a longer period of time without getting strain and headaches. For the HDR, obviously it helps me to grade HDR content, which I can preview. And then there's also a feature I really like on this monitor is you can have it a landscape like you have right now, or you can turn the monitor to a vertical mode by rotating the monitor, which helps me to edit Instagram stories, for example. And also I use that feature when I'm tethered into my Canon camera when I take photos, so that the client can see the preview straight away on the vertical monitor. I use this monitor for the editing, for photography, and I find the colors really accurate in terms of grading. And the connection at the back of the monitor, you get the 3 Thunderbolt connection, HDMI, as well as a display port. So it gives you a range of options to connect to different devices. So in terms of my workflow, as you can see, I use DaVinci Resolve for all my editing. I did come from Adobe Premiere, but what I find with DaVinci Resolve is not only it's kind of easier to edit, in my personal opinion anyway, it's also a lot better in terms of color grading. I think that's what the Resolve is famous for. It is its color grading features and options and creating masks and things like that. So let's jump into my kind of basic workflow. I normally import my footage through the media tab here, and then I drag it into the timeline for the clips I want to edit. Now, once I have arranged the clips I want to edit, I can do the color grading. Now, with the color grading panel, as you can see, there's a lot of windows here. On my previous laptop, obviously the screen's a lot smaller, even on my 15-inch MacBook Pro. So navigating around these windows and panels can kind of be tedious. So with this widescreen ASUS monitor, I'm able to see everything quite clearly and able to navigate much faster as well. So here on the dial on the bottom left, as you can see, I kind of adjust the contrast a little bit here, the saturation, and then you can bring the highlights, etc. up and down, and then kind of give a general over of the color that I like, maybe make it a bit warmer, a bit colder, a bit cinematic, depends on the mood and the film that it needs to be in. You can also, of course, create a different section of the clip. For example, if you want to bring the skin tone brighter than the rest of the clip, you can do that with masking. So yeah, there's a lot of features you can play around on the DaVinci Resolve. So again, comparing to my old laptop, although it was a good high-spec laptop, but I wasn't able to get the right color accuracy because it wasn't a professional color kind of graded for grading. So with this monitor, it has much better color accuracy and also, like I said, a bigger screen. So I'm able to see what it would and should really look like while I'm grading. So that really helps me a lot with this ASUS monitor. And you can go to the HDR tab here. So because this monitor is HDR enabled, You can see the kind of progress I do here when I'm grading HDR footage as well. So yeah, all in all, this monitor helps me a lot. It's giving me the right kind of look I need in terms of color. It's not too bright, it's not too reflective, and it speeds up my workflow quite a bit in terms of especially at the color grading stage. Okay, so that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the session with me. And once again, a big thank you to ASUS ProArt and Wex for making this possible.